There, Haley.
Howl.
Howl who?
Howl, unless you open the door.
Okay. That's almost as good as your poem was.
So good. Okay, the second poem is called...
Also, I must apologize. I promised to record this reading, and I just remembered. So for anyone watching the recording, that's my fault, and you missed Haley's first poem, but you have to buy her book to discover what it was.
Discover. Okay, good. Am I good? All right, this next poem is called Night Psalm. Whatever twilight of the heart this is, bare branches braced against the air, dreaming not of new leaves yet to come, but sweet leaves lost. The gloam that brings the wolves brings Venus also. My aorta has an evening star, meaning when I want to throw it all off me like a dirty bandage, some benediction glitters above the slaughterhouse, no matter what hangs high on its hooks. Can't think how I came to raise my eyes, let alone look west, but I've done it. The bud of dawn opens in my chest. All right, that was Night Psalm. Knock, knock. Is this weird?
Who's there?
Avenue.
Avenue who?
Avenue knocked on this door before?
Oh, that one's really painful and awkward because, wait, did you write these or did you find these?
I didn't. I just Googled it.
Because you're asking the person opening the door if they've knocked on the door. Yeah, wow. I've got some critiques of that knock knock joke, but
write them in.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The next poem is called Swamp Creed. I grew up in West Michigan, where Jane is also from and is right now, which is super cool. So I have a lot of childhood memories of seeing, in particular, red-winged blackbirds, which are migratory, I think, in Michigan, come back to the marshes in the spring. So if you've ever seen anything similar, I think that image is helpful for this poem. This is called Swamp Creed. To the one who from the Father and the Son proceeds, who is worshipped and glorified, speaking through mouths of prophets and reeds on which small marsh birds rest. It seems to me that need, not death, is the great destroyer of worlds. Now I am become. You are already in your kingdom. I seek no remembrance, but reach down and fill my mouth, fill all until my name is new, is needlessness. The mouths of reeds look empty, yet you, forever holy, forever passing through, wet them, linger inside them. Okay, hard pivot to a knock-knock joke from that. Hard pivot.
All right.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting pirate.
Interrupting pirate. Who? Wow. That was expected. I saw that one coming.
Okay, this next poem is called Job Goes West. If you're familiar with the biblical story of Job and the text, I think you'll probably appreciate this a little bit more. Do go read it if you have never encountered the book of Job. Okay. Job Goes West. Do you give strength its horse? These rodeo clowns their nimble honking noses. Does your wisdom call down lassos on the necks of loping steer? Who gives the bronc its buck? How came testicular agony of the fearless bull to raise cowboys skyward? Strength barrel races bareback. See, that done's a hell of a cutter too. Now what's it gonna be, partner? This town ain't big enough for the both of us.
Well, that's almost a joke as well.
It's almost, should I skip the joke? Do we want the knock knock jokes? I'm gonna read it because I set this template and now I don't know how to break it. So sorry. Pretend you're into it. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Ears.
Ears who?
Ears another knock knock joke for ya.
And we are so grateful.
All right. Okay, this next poem is called Leaf Blower. Is anybody, just out of curiosity, raise your hand if you are familiar with Kate Blanchett's phobia of leaf blowers? Nobody? Okay, this is a phenomenon that I would encourage you to use the internet to learn about because it's really delightful. If you want to see somebody have a really unusual and powerful tantrum, you have to look up Kate Blanchett and what she has to say about leaf blowers. Okay, this poem is called Leaf Blower. So somber, amber the dying summer's ember, I clutch November. If you could see how red this red, flood comes color, knocking everything alive before deadening smooth and brown as dusk. I dream down in a russet wood, wake in one too. People are out walking here, walking beneath heavenly hosts of leaves. Amen, I say to you, salvation will catch us up in its great rake. We will be bagged by glory, bound and gagged by glory, which shuts the mouth and stills the hands. You with eyes to see how red and fair this red, go and let my people stare. No hush now, too flushed with gales this air. Oh God, God's rose-hip lips, their movement. All right. I'm going to try to find a good one, but it's kind of tricky. Okay. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Water.
Water who?
What are you asking so many questions for?
Ha ha ha.
Right? Really solid with that one. Okay. This next poem is called Learning Curve. Is anybody here really type A? Really type A personality? Okay, I'm type B, and this poem is about my experience, I think, as a type B human. So shout out if you relate. Okay, learning curve. There are people who conduct themselves and their affairs quietly. Dark roast purists who can't prefer the way a cloud of milk softens coffee in your mouth. I mean people that keep ledgers and spreadsheets, save watermelon rinds for composting. In short, people that have their shit largely together, with whom any encounter becomes Congress with the monumental togetherness of their shit. I know at least one woman who publicly critiques her perfectionism because of her perfectionism. Now, my chewed cuticles and mismatched socks and dime store mascara are here. We want reform. We want to learn. I'm told truth is worthier than discretion, more valuable even than elegance. So for starters, I wear Damn Girl by Too Faced. One tube costs $35.99. Okay. Another, I know you guys are excited for this right now. Okay, knock, knock.
Who's there?
Shirley.
Shirley who?
Shirley, you must know who I am by now.
Great one.
Sorry, it's honestly so dumb. So embarrassing. Okay, where am I? Sorry, guys. It's a lot of balls to juggle. All right, here we go. This next poem is called Drifting. I tried to look through and choose ones that were more sonically preoccupied because I think that's better for a live reading. So I did make some effort to choose more musical work for you all because I know it can be a little blah, 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 blah. Okay, Drifting. The message bobbing, battered in a bottle on the sea of God. My cries sunk in the salt of the divine. Brine to brine, I greet you, Lord, assaulted by your vastness, tendered on your tender waves that toss my glass to shore. Oh, that you would read me. Again, I wade into the deep of you, cast anew my hidden heart, unchart to unmap, it floats. This light plays on holy water and my sight. Am I asking the wrong sea? Are you the message drifting through the dark ocean of me? Okay. Okay, this makes a lot of sense. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Arthur.
Arthur who?
Arthur, any cookies left?
You betcha.
Super special. Super, super special.
Haley, I just want to say that I'm glad that Mary Moore, one of our another Orison Books author, is here today. You remind me a lot of your work reminds me a lot of Mary's work. There's a lot of, speaking of sound, the sound of language, there's a lot of sonic kinship between y'all's work. So
Love
Mary,
to
glad
hear
you're
it.
here.
Glad you're here. And I think I just like, let's give that a shout for a minute, because I think I'm so excited to see poets who are contemporary poets writing today who are excited about putting music back in poetry. I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I do think contemporary poetry has lost music to some extent. And we want it back. I think we need it back. I think poetry without music is kind of a homeless, strange thing. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you for giving it a special shout. Without further ado, speaking of music, this next poem is called A.M. On account of all the pooling gold, morning is better suited to dreaming than night. I woke to Solomon's sparkling wealth just now, as the bear of January lumbers in his polar slumber. I mean, I woke to a bright dream, better than any I was having, and the light touched me in every place that needed touching. The light changed my body like you would if you were here, and in the span of a single reverie, I wrote 1,000 poems, each of them called Morning. All right. Da, 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 da. Knock, knock.
I was muted. Who's there?
Adam.
Adam who?
Out of my way. I'm coming in.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Aggressive.
Special, special, special. Okay. This next poem, buckle up for it, you guys. It's the longest of the poems I'm going to read. It's called Year of. If you're into like Howl, you're going to probably like this poem. It's enumerative. So I apologize. Typically my poems are not this long, but I do like this one.
Don't
okay.
apologize. Own it.
I take it back. I take it back. That's toxic, feminine urge to apologize. I retract it. Okay, this poem is called Year of. Restless at the kitchen table, year of our Lord, 2024. Year my words march backward into my mouth and forward only when forgotten. Year of the Stanley tumbler, year of the subtle but far-reaching machinations of neo-Marxism, depending on who you ask. Year of Our Lady of Fuck Around and Find Out, year of pundits, year of Doja Cat, year of royal family tabloid drama, year of literal and figurative warfare. Bloodlust year, year of desire, year of frustrated desire, year of gradually excruciating guided identification of desires. Year of the child, the laughing year of the wailing child, the domestic year, the exotic year, the year of everything turning to poetry, the year of poetry turning to nothing, the year of your turning to everything, the year of totality, the lost and found year, year of the late bloom of the heart's silent madness, year of attending to various screens, year of continual scrolling, the unchurched year, the year of tallying ecclesial Latin absorbed by the body, the pleni sunt celi et terra gloria tua year, the irreverent year, the year of tabula rasa and later perceptions of time, the year of the timely year, the seasonal year, the calendar year, year of annual infinity, the year of the erotic diminuendo, the yearless pleasured year of self, the wanton year, the maybe out after hours year, the year of slow staircase ascents, the year of our Lord not yet come again, the year lavished on a boy, the year wasted on a man, the unmanned, barely manageable one-woman year of kitchen table restlessness, the year of being trapped in a Word document, the year of being trapped in a word. Okay, we survived. Well done, everyone. I'm sorry, these are just so bad, it feels embarrassing to share any of them. Knock,
Well,
knock.
they're a foil for your poems. It's a smart strategy. Like,
Thank you.
really bad jokes interspersed with really mediocre. No, I'm just kidding.
Luke, don't you do it. Don't you do that right now.
Really
Not right now.
incredible poems. I'm your publisher. You know I love them.
That's true. Okay, in that case, knock, knock.
Who's there?
Annie.
Annie who?
Anybody home? Okay. Oh, look, this is an accident, but we've got a year's theme.
Yeah.
Okay, I know I said I wouldn't do this, but I will tell you this one that I'm about to read is not in the book. I just wrote this just before New Year's Eve. It's called Wearing the Years. So I've struck a theme. Okay, Wearing the Years. The last of the year slips off like a silk dress, rests in a heap on the floor, leaving souls that wore it to stand naked a while in the light that is and isn't new. We that are under the sun simply cannot help it, chewing what memories remain to us. Time's tobacco, moon around the wide ring of eternity. I'll choose my microcosms carefully this year, hunt down Alacrity's tune and stuff my ears with it. To my voice of unrest, I will invite peace. I'll wear the fleece of high-mindedness against the constant chill of passion. Just watch, the year will come off me like spun wool, insulating, useful. You'll want to make caps and socks from it. Okay.
Haley, how many poems and jokes do you have left?
How many do you want me to have left?
This is your 1 or 2 poem warning, depending on how long they are.
That is perfect. I have, I think, 2 short poems left.
Perfect.
And 2 shorter jokes, which you really want. You want these jokes. They're so good.
That's what we're all here for.
I knew it. Here's a zinger. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Ron.
Ron who?
Ron a little faster.
But no, that doesn't make sense.
It's just what it says. It's just what it says. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm just reading from the internet. Okay. Okay, this next poem. The tone shifts are killing me, you guys. It is really hard. I thought I have this extensive theater background that I thought would be helpful, but it turns out it's really hard to be like, I'm going to read my serious poems in my serious voice. It's impossible. So thank you for your patience. This poem is called Last Rites. Okay. Once you told me that words are spells, that conversation is a sacrament. Back then we could really communicate. Ever seen a flower unfurl? It used to feel so good, so heard, so sunward. But the excommunicated do not receive the sacraments. That gutsy ones still ask. And when I finally say all I want to, which way do your great cathedral doors swing? Forgive me, Father, for I have gone on speaking. Okay. That was Last Rites. Luke, do we have time for one more short one, or should I wind it down? Yes?
Yep.
Okay. I'll spare you the knock knock joke because it's so bad. Yeah, we're gonna just move right on from that.
You are merciful.
You guys are gonna have to enter therapy from enduring these terrible jokes. Okay, the last poem is called Christmas Discoveries, Past and Present. Shepherds, freezing, found Christ come, eternal dawn if not yet morning, found his fawning virgin mother, vulval gate, apex of ages, found I can only wait this long if you let me, history plods like perfunctory sex, found I dreamt of you taking all my time, making something good with it against all odds. Okay. That's all I've got.
Thank you so much, Haley.
Thank you.
So many amazing, memorable lines, memorable sounds. History plods like perfunctory sex. Wow.
Don't it though? She do.
So apt. All right. Thank you so much, Haley. And
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
on EROS REX. Hope your copies arrive in a day or two, which I believe they will. I did get a notification that they shipped, so they are on the way. Okay, next up, Jane Zwart will read from Oddest and Oldest and Saddest and Best. I have to say, these are two of my favorite book titles of any books that I've ever published with Orison. EROS REX and Oddest and Oldest and Saddest and Best. I didn't mention this in my little introductory remarks about the press. Hello. That the word orison is an archaic word for prayer. You may have heard it in Shakespeare, in Hamlet, who says, "Nymph in thy orisons, be all my sins remembered." And in a Wilfred Owen poem, there's a lovely use of orison. Anyway, I love the sound of the word, and obviously its meaning is relevant to our focus on the spirit. Okay, Jane Zwart teaches literature and writing at Calvin University, where she also co-directs the Calvin Center for Faith and Writing. Her poems have appeared widely in places including Poetry, the Poetry Review, Plowshares, the Southern Review, and Threepenny Review. Welcome to Jane.
Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you for all being here. I can't still figure out how to see the list of everyone, but grateful to each of you. And I also just have to issue a maybe apology up front. I have sort of a respiratory thing going. So any coughing is incidental to the poems, not part of the plan. But I'm hoping that water will see me through. And thank you to Luke, of course, for making my poems a book. And thank you to Haley for letting me celebrate our book birthdays together. So yeah, I'm going to start with a poem that is sort of the epigraph poem for the collection. I'm not even sure what you call a poem like that, but it's by itself before any of the three parts begins, and is kind of an invitation. So this is Poem with a Hole in It. My great aunt had a typewriter that punched the paper belly from every O she wrote. Every poem has a hole in it. A rifle's sight, the peg of lens in a motel door, the circle cut in a kaleidoscope so we can see colors pedaling down the tube. Your pupil guzzling data and light, my pupil guzzling data and light. I think of the divots left in a birthday cake when the kid uproots the candles. I think of the pox Christmas lights burn in a porch rail's rough of snow. We are on different sides of this islet. My great aunt taught me that. Every poem is riddled with holes, but I am threading two tin cans, punctured ends, that you might know me yet. All right. And it felt also right to read the title poem for the book, Oddest and Oldest and Saddest and Best. And I'm so glad that Luke likes the names of both our books. I will say that when people ask me, what is your book called? I feel like they're really in for a long answer. So that was not foreseen, but here
I think it makes people curious. I would hope.
I hope so. It might also overpromise a little bit. But here's Oddest and Oldest.
Maybe we should have done odd-ish, I-S-H.
Oh.
Old-ish. Regrets.
Yeah, too late now. All right. My student spends his summers in city cemeteries, clipping the scruff that grows too close to the stones, or anywhere the mowers can't go. Sundays mostly, the death jilted come, some to pledge the stiff with a fifth, some to Windex the pain of granite. Some of those left come to sob nearer the lever, or anyway, nearer the dregs that pool in their defector's chest. Sundays, my student stays home. Mondays, he finds the flat and shouldered bottles. He finds a silver pita barely levitating in the cool of the day, bleeding helium molecules. The remnant trapped in the mylar, huddles small for warmth. He finds that those who visit the hours he works don't mind the loose orbit the groundskeepers keep around their mellowed grief. He tells me about the priest who lingers after giving a graveside homily heavy on Jonah. The Lord appoints the bush and the worm that attacks the bush. Some of the bereaved, my student says, regain their curiosity. They ask him about the others' epitaphs, oddest and oldest and saddest and best. Oh, thanks. And then this next one also has a little bit of the idea of orbits. It also is tied to grief, and it's called The Planetary Model of the Atom. The kids whose siblings lived minded it more. They objected to matter loosely packed, to the molecule more Calder-mobile than pudding stone. Or at least they marveled less how, like a sun, a marble nucleus could ordain BBs for Bohr's orbits. I'm not faulting them. What we want before grief is to contain no absence. Before grief, we cannot guess how much rides on the symmetry of heaven and earth. The kids whose siblings lived, when they traced the textbook lace work of starches, they felt only hunger. When they stared at the airy jumble of a polymer like a fistful of unmatched jacks, it was a reflex to test the desk's composite, to knock and so surprise the world in its Swiss density. I am not mocking them, the uninitiated, for being bewildered on learning these strange things. How electrons that hula nuclei do not give. How rapping on emptiness smarts.
Oof, that one is so potent.
Thank you. I'm going to stay a little sad for a minute with a poem called My Sadness is Complete, but I promise at the end we will get around to a little more joy again, especially because the two things, of course, exist side by side. My sadness is complete. To say some things, it both is and is not too late. For a month, I wait on an opening in the radiologist's schedule. All that time, my worry, a girl with huge front teeth, reads over my shoulder. I do not push her away. And after the biopsy comes back clean, she goes of her own accord, returning to a room with plaid walls. In that room, our brothers are beaming. One white blonde and knee-high, one thin, limbs akimbo, and wearing a red cap, which means he is already dying. Of course, it is and is not too late to follow her, to say that they are not pretending, that they are happy, to say that sometimes we were. Even if for 40 years I have remembered the first night of Adam's sickness better than any other thing. The strange sauce on my grandma's pasta, the strange sheets on my dad's boyhood bed, and Luke on my left, small and asleep. I watched him so hard. Well, there was never any telling the kids in that room a single thing. Not that if vigilance could have saved their brother, he would not be dead. Not that if worry could have saved him, he would be immortal. So it follows that for weeks, I worried myself. But at last, my sadness is complete. Older than the parents who lost you. Old enough to estimate how unfair and how brave. I say, forgive me for swimming, for looking away. It is not too late. I say, forgive me for wanting to love you less. All right. And yeah, moving here to a poem that feels less immediate to my own experience, but also feels like a good one to read, given some of the things that are going on in Minneapolis and elsewhere in our country. This one is called Go Back to Your Own Country. Let me tell you about countries. Nobody has their own. And where we come from moves. Our mother's wombs aren't where we left them. Continents calve. Jerusalem holds a tray full of glasses that a scrum of men take and put back. Take and put back, unworried for the weight she must shift. Let me tell you, some of our countries aren't where we left them. Someone pulls a string and 6 tumble from Yugoslavia's pocket. Someone halves Sudan like a branch over their knee. Someone crumbles. A bailey between Berlin's and Germany is one place again. Only Adam had his own country, and he could not go back. A country is land that's learned to disown. Thank you. I have one more, and yeah, it seems fitting for an ending because it is called Fourfold Amen. If you didn't grow up in the same traditions as I did, then maybe you're not familiar with the Fourfold Amen. But there are hymns that at the end of it, you sing 4 amens, like one simply will not do. So you keep going singing more of them. And so this poem is in 4 parts, and it's called Fourfold Amen. On stage, it takes the lead, a lot of words to die. Maybe I, too, am holding a red scarf to a false wound. This morning, someone published a how-to titled, Telling Your Kids It's the End of the World. Maybe there's been a run on red scarves that cool, silken, sanguine in actors' laps. Either that or button tips no longer come with épées. I am not ungrateful for the last lecture, for letters labeled in the event of, for the lawyers who write up our wills. Every lulay I've sung, I've meant it. But I would rather go out stringing a hymn along, singing to delay the end of men, rolling the first letter up the octaves again and again. I would rather be the sort who cannot help but run back and duck her head inside a rolled down window for another kiss before life pulls away. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Jane. That was so wonderful. And thank you, Haley. Such a powerful reading of powerful poems from both of you. We have 10 minutes, maybe a minute more, for some Q&A. So if you have a question for either Haley or Jane or both, please feel free to raise your hand or put it in the chat. I will start off with a question. Both of you are so interested in wordplay and the music of language. Who are some of the poets who have inspired you the most in that regard?
This is the kind of question that always makes me panic when I hear it, because I feel like every name of every poet I know leaves my mind. But I will say that one of them is a fellow Orison author as well. Amit Majmudar is someone who is poetry kin for me, and I think he does amazing things with wordplay. I also think of Christian Wyman as someone who does that maybe in subtler ways, but it's also really a big part of his work. And now I'm going to let Haley talk while I try and think of more names of people that I know I love.
Oh,
Those
gosh.
are two amazing ones. Yeah.
So good. Unfortunately, my answers are generic but honest, and fairly obvious, but I feel hugely indebted to Gerard Manley Hopkins, who I have right here. That's how indebted. And then Dylan Thomas as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think those are the two names that are really just behemoth level names when we think what is music and poetry. Yeah, so those are the two that jumped for me. But I think Christian Wyman is a great example of a contemporary writer who does so much wordplay so well. Were you inspired in the interim while I rambled, Jane?
No, but I want to second Hopkins for sure.
Absolutely. Diane is asking both of you, do you write indoors or out? That's an interesting question.
Oh, I write wherever I happen to be. Sometimes, unfortunately, that is when I am driving my car.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. Taking your life and risking your life for the art. That's really
like a stoplight. There's lots of stoplights. Yeah. I feel like sometimes, if a phrase or a line comes to me, like I just need to get it down right away if I know it belongs to something or could belong to something. But yeah, I mostly write indoors, but I certainly have written poems out of doors too. And it just, it sort of depends where there's enough time and enough space in that part of my mind. So yeah, I will take it whenever it comes, and please pray that I don't get into any car wrecks.
And I would say the same is true for me, minus the car part. I'm jealous of you car poets, kind of. That's I think a great skill to have, because we spend so much time driving. But yeah, I write wherever I happen to be. So in, out, over, above, around, between, anywhere. Yep, any preposition.
All the preposition, equal opportunity prepositionist.
Exactly.
Hannah is asking, are you morning or evening writers? Wow, way more pondering on that. I thought that would be a quick, response, but both of you are pondering.
I mean,
I would love to be a morning writer. Like I am a morning writer when I have mornings free, but most of the time I'm teaching or in meetings or whatever.
Yeah.
And because I can't really sleep on a poem without losing it, that means that I'm an evening writer a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's so fair. I am predictably the most unstructured writer in the history of the world. And I would say in general, I notice, but I think this is just has to do with how my days go, but I tend to occupy the poles a lot. So I will either write immediately in the morning or I'll write at night. But I think that has more to do with circumstances than habit or discipline.
It's interesting though, Haley, because you're simultaneously in quote unquote undisciplined in that sense, but you're extremely prolific. You write virtually every day or every day, isn't that right?
That's right. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about that adjective prolific. It's literally true. And I struggle with it in the sense that I really what I like about it is that my engine is always running. It's always warm. So I don't really have like dry spells where I'm like, I can't write. I think that's really, really common. You'll hear like, oh, I just hit 6 months where I couldn't write anything.
Yep.
But on the other end of the spectrum, I write a lot of crap. You know what I mean? And I think, which is fine. I'm not too concerned about it, except I still have a hard time with the discernment process. So it can be really vertiginous in a undesirable way to write something and be like, oh my gosh, I feel like it's so amazing. And 3 days later, you're like, this is trash, or vice versa. I've had, poems that I think are terrible. And I'm actually, this is a strong poem. So yeah, I don't know. There's pros and cons, I guess.
Yeah. Jane, how productive are you on a spectrum of, poets who produce a lot of poems versus poets who produce fewer poems?
I think sort of upper middle productivity, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I think for a long time, I was definitely on the lower end of that, but I think, for a long time, I felt like a poem had to be sort of delivered to you like a baby from the stork or something. And then I eventually realized that, some poems and some really good poems, you outline a shape and fill it in order to make it in a way that is, that begins at least more in something like discipline and craft, but can still sometimes end up in song.
What a great way to put it. Begins in discipline and craft and ends in song. I love it. Any other questions? Okay, well, I want to thank everyone for joining us. Thank you to Haley and Jane. Let's give them another round of applause and gratitude for their beautiful poems. Thank you, everyone.
Can we just sign off now? Do we just leave?
We can just leave. People can leave as they
Just
wish.
asking. I'm like, I don't know. It feels so
You
Zoom
can
is so
stay to
weird.
watch all the emojis, though, until everyone is gone.
I'm good. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Jane. It was
Thank
wonderful.
you, everyone.
And such an honor. Thank you.
Oh, for me too. Thank you. And thank you, Luke, for being the host and putting this on.
Such a pleasure. Thanks so much.